Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Tanya from the Rio Rancho Public Libraries, here to share another story time with you all. Now before we get started, I just want to invite everybody to go and find a special toy or stuffed animal or friend to come and join us. So if you want to go ahead and go get your toy right now, go do that. And grown-ups out there, I just want to share with you an early literacy tip. Our early literacy tip for today is to set an example. It's important that you let your child see that you are reading in order to help them kind of create their own love of reading. So whether we realize it or not, they're always watching us. So if they see you enjoying a book, they're more likely to pick up a book and enjoy it themselves. All right? Okay. Now, boys and girls, if we've got our little stuffy friends and we're all set to begin, I think we can start. Before we get to our first book today, though, I thought we'd take a chance to do a little warm-up rhyme, get ourselves all nice and comfortable, get those wiggles out. So, join me in this rhyme called, This is Big, Big, Big. This is big, big, big. This is small, small, small. This is short, short, short. This is tall, tall, tall. This is fast, fast, fast. This is slow, slow, slow. This is yes, yes, yes. And this is no, no, no. There, don't we feel better getting those wiggles out? Okay, well today, boys and girls, I picked a book perfect for the fall weather we're enjoying right now. Because I don't know about you boys and girls, but when it gets kind of chilly out and you feel that cold wind kind of breezing through, I like to have a nice warm treat. And this story is about three friends who are trying to find just the right kind of treat. It's called Delicious, a Pumpkin Soup Story by Helen Cooper, read with permission from Farah Strauss-Giroux. So let's start our story, Delicious. Deep in the woods, it was lunchtime, munch time. Should have been cooking time down at the old white cabin. But out in the garden, there was rustling and scuffling, a bit of kerfuffling. The sound of a duck and a squirrel and a cat looking for a pumpkin in the pumpkin patch. They couldn't find a single ripe one. Not ready yet. Pumpkin soup, all they ever wanted, all they ever cooked in the old white cabin. We might have to make something different today, they agreed. Back at the cabin, the cat pulled down a faded old recipe book. They blew off the cobwebs, and turning the pages, they wondered what else they could cook. Fish soup, said the cat. That sounds scrumptious. Nutritious, said the squirrel. Delicious, said the duck. So they all went fishing. And that afternoon, the duck caught 4 little minnows. The squirrel caught only a cold. But the cat caught 22 beautiful trout. And they brought them back to the old white cabin. Well, the cat sliced the fish and popped them in the pot. The squirrel stirred, and the duck scooped up a pipkin of salt and a pinch of pepper and dropped them in. Doop, doop. It's scrumptious, said the cat. Nutritious, said the squirrel. But the duck sniffed the soup and said, yuck. He wouldn't even try it. Ooh. Fish soup, the best you ever tasted? Most of the soup was going to be wasted. They turned the pages of their recipe book and wondered what else they could cook. Mushroom soup, said the squirrel. That sounds scrumptious. So they all went mushrooming. Soon the duck found a toadstool. The cat found something worse. But the squirrel found a mound of mushrooms, and they carried them back to the old white cabin. Mushroom soup? Would it be wasted? Time for the mushroom soup to be tasted. Scrumptious, squeaked the squirrel. Nutritious, said the cat. But the duck sniffed the soup and said, yuck. He wouldn't even try it. He went to bed feeling hungry with horrible pains in his tummy and dreamt of spider soup. Ugh. At the peep of dawn, there was no peace for the cat and squirrel trying to sleep in the old white cabin. The duck was hunting for a pumpkin, hoping one had ripened. All I want is pumpkin soup, he mumbled, and his hungry tummy rumbled, and he began to cry. The cat remembered it was market day. Perhaps we could buy a pumpkin, he said. Let's go, quacked the duck, and he ran off ahead with the basket. At the woodland market, there were vegetable stalls, heaped tall with peas and beans and eggplants and onions and parsnips, but sadly, not a pumpkin to be seen. Soon the duck grumbled that his feet were sore, and he cried and he fussed and he whined to go home. Buy something quick, said the cat, so the squirrel bought some beets. They're brown and ugly, said the duck, but the cat and squirrel were ready to leave. Home in the cabin, the cat peeled the beets and sliced them and popped them in the pot, while the squirrel stirred, and it looked pretty good. The duck didn't help. He just laid in bed with a headache. Beet soup, the best you ever tasted, made by the cat and the squirrel for the duck, who took one look and said, I'm not eating that. It's pink. You don't deserve it, growled the squirrel. But all I want is pumpkin soup, said the duck, and that's orange. Then there was a trouble, a horrible squabble, a hullabaloo in the old white cabin. I'll trick him, whispered the cat. While the others ran a bath, he slipped away with the basket again, and this time he bought some yellow zucchini, the ripest tomatoes, carrots, and corn. And when no one was watching, he peeled them and sliced them and chopped them and diced them and squished them and plopped them into the cooking pot. That ought to do, he said to himself. It's exactly the color of pumpkin soup. The duck peered into the cooking pot. That looks like pumpkin soup, he said. He rushed to scoop up a pipkin of salt with a pinch of pepper and dropped them in while the squirrel stirred. They all stirred, and soon it was soup slurping time. Scrumptious, said the cat. Nutritious, said the squirrel. The hungry duck had another look. He sniffed the soup, took a tiny sip and quacked, that isn't pumpkin soup, but it's the best soup I ever tasted. Let's eat the whole pot. And they did. The end. All right, boys and girls. Well, I hope you enjoyed our story today, and thank you for joining me. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.